Hey guys, what's up? Matt here, and this video is going to be an explanation of an important arc that is essential to getting consistent sales. It's a very technical video, it's quite nuanced, but if you do like the content, make sure you stay all the way to the end, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and yeah, enjoy the video. Alright guys, so what you might struggle to read on the whiteboard behind me is I've essentially got the cascading effect of what I think constitutes an effective sales process. So what we've got is the problem, the what, the why, the consequence, the commitment, and the action. So that's kind of like a cascade effect. I'll link below a more in-depth video on that sort of sequence. But essentially, like, there's an important arc that happens in between the what, the why, and the consequence. And I want to explain that today in a little bit more detail. What you need to understand is that when you're going through a sale and you are trying to kind of like contextualize difficult questions that you're asking someone so it becomes their best benefit to actually do it, then we have to give them a reason to link the what to the why, right? So the what is essentially like, what is the tangible outcome that happens when they achieve the goal? The why is like the emotional tie down or the emotional anchor that we use to then create importance of the what, okay? And the consequence is like, once we future pace out what happens when we get the things that we want and we really think in detail about that, then the consequence is we take that away and we explore what life would be like without the option of having those things, okay? Sales doesn't have to be like just one continuous thing. It doesn't have to be disjointed. It doesn't have to be just random questions. We can lump these parts in together, all right? And how we do that is we create a sort of like a story arc where we bring something in at the beginning, we get buy-in on that concept, and then from there we use that the whole way through to push the person down the process effectively. I feel it's one of the most important things for a salesperson, especially in the coaching and consulting space, to be able to understand, because especially in that space, or whenever you're selling anything with fitness, whenever you're selling anything, any sort of service related, where you're helping someone, or even if it's done for you or done with you, whatever it may be, whenever you're helping someone get from where they are to a goal, I think this is a very, very important framework for you to really understand. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I've been coaching a lot of people recently, both internal to my team and external, and this has been a key and fundamental learning for them to take to get to the next level from where they are to where they want to go. Essentially creating an arc. So one of the easier ones that I'll use as an example, and again, you don't have to use my examples, or in fact I recommend you don't, I recommend you make your own, but it's understanding the concepts that I'm trying to espouse. If you understand your script effectively enough, you don't have to memorize it. All you have to do is understand what you're trying to get out of each question, what you're trying to get out of each phase. Then from there, you can understand what answers you're looking for. When you understand what answers you're looking for, you can then understand how to ask that question. Whether it's different words or different tonalities, it doesn't really matter. But then you're gonna be able to ask a question in the most specific way possible to get the most desired outcome. So if I'm taking, when I'm trying to get the what, I'm trying to get the tangible outcome, I can bring in an analogy that makes it make sense, okay? And I use a lot of analogies in selling because I think it's a powerful tool to get someone to become introspective enough to where they can decide to make a change and that they can start to convince themselves, because I'm just under the impression that we can't convince anyone to do anything. All we can do is hopefully take them down a path where they convince themselves, right? So the first one would be like, let's just say you come through and you go, okay, so, you know, like, what are you really looking to get out of this? Like what do you kind of want to achieve? And then I can let them answer, and then I can roll with this, or I can just kind of steamroll straight through it and be like, because, you know, like, people running towards their goals, I guess goals it's a random analogy, but follow me, it's kind of like an ice cream truck. They're just like, what? So it's a bit of a pattern interrupt, so now they're really listening, right? I'm like, so, you know, like, imagine it's summertime, it's like really, really hot outside, and there's this fat kid and he really wants an ice cream, right? He's got Speedos on, he's got slides on, he's really running towards it, right? And he really wants that ice cream. He's picturing it, and he can taste it in his mouth, and his mouth's watering, and he really wants that. But like, is he really willing to get uncomfortable? Like, is he willing to run over broken glass? Is he willing to push women and children out the way? You know what I mean? Probably not, because the ice cream, although it's a good payoff, it's not really worth getting really uncomfortable. Whereas on the kind of the flip side of that, like, I don't know if you've ever seen somebody run from a burning building, right? But it's a different type of running. Like, nobody gets to the front door of a burning building and stops and it's like, I've gone far enough. Like, people just keep running. And it's because, like, the consequences of the inaction are so catastrophic that they just have to act. They have to do it. Otherwise, something terrible will happen, right? So I think, like, it's important to remember that people genuinely run away from things with far more veracity than they run towards it. Does that make sense? But I think it's important to understand, what is the ice cream for you? Like, what do you actually get when you get there? You know what I mean? So what happens when you bite it? So tell me, man, like, you know, what happens when you get to X amount, when you lose X amount of weight, whatever it is they want, like, what happens then? Then what we do is we take them on a journey where we really want to understand what they really want. Like, we want the tangible tie down. Now, all that analogy has done is it set up a couple of very, I think, important frameworks or very important truths, whatever you want to call them. People run away from things faster than they run towards things. And there's countless examples, and it's very easy to create examples. If I release a line or put gold in front of you, like, you're going to run away from the line faster than you're going to run towards the gold. Like, it's just common sense, right? So it's easy to get that buy-in. The second thing that we get out of that is that we contextualize and we give them good reason why they should tell us their goal, and then it gives us a good and easy segue into why they should give us the consequence of the inaction. Because it's going to be in their benefit, because by understanding it, they'll run faster, right? So we kind of set ourselves up to create that arc, right? And once I get the what, then what I'm going to do is go, okay, and like, how would that make you feel to be able to do that? What would that do for you? And I'm going to try and tease out the detail and then get some emotional tie downs to that. Then I go into the consequence. So I'll go like, okay, well, now I think I understand what it is you're trying to do, you know, and I don't want to kind of turn the tide of the conversation, because I think that we're having a good one. But you know, like, we understand your ice cream, but like, what sets the building on fire now? Because as we know, people run away from things faster than they run towards things. So like, what happens, man? What happens in the next 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 2 decades? You haven't changed anything, and you're still going towards XYZ. You still haven't achieved it. Like, what happens then? And then that's when they might say something like, well, no, I'm gonna do it no matter what. This is happening. I'm not that type of person, yada, yada, yada. And that's when you got to stay in the saddle, and you got to be able to kind of keep looping them around, because you have to get that answer. That is not a good enough answer, because if you're going to do something no matter what, there's no reason to do it now. There's none. Every good diet starts on a Monday. New year, new me. Okay? The only time to act is now, because it's the only thing that we're actually promised is right now. We're not promised 2 years from now. It's important for us to remember that this is the truth, generally speaking, across most people. And then it's just about practice. You know, there's lots of other analogies that you can use, and I won't sort of go too into detail. If you want me to do a one on pure analogies, type analogies down in the comments, and I'll do a video on just a whole bunch of different analogies that I use for different types of reframes. But essentially, all I'm trying to do when I do this is try and get a concept and try and get buy-in on the concept, so that when I progress the person down to the rest of the sales call, I've left myself in very good stead, to where we're talking the same language, we're walking the same walk, and you know, the outcome is most of the time going to end up in a sale. So I think it's a really important arc to get right. I think especially in sort of some of the realms that we sell in predominantly, which would be coaching, consulting, services, that kind of stuff. But you know, we've got clients that do door-to-door solo, we've got clients that do all kinds of stuff that are making great money and you know, making good livings using this kind of selling as well. So I hope that was helpful, guys. It's a very in-depth concept that is difficult to explain when you don't have a one-on-one type thing where you can set a lot of examples, but I did my best. I hope that makes sense. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you guys head down to the Closing Code Facebook group so you can be a part of the role plays. I do a live session every single Friday Australian time, Thursday evening US time. I do a 1 hour live Q&A in there every single week. So if you want to get in there, hop in, and have a good day. Bye.